Hello whiskey lovers and welcome to another one of Mark's Whiskey Ramblings. I am in Sault in the Provence, and Sault can actually be seen as the capital of lavender. Now usually all these fields are full with lavender, this beautiful purple lavender, but obviously harvest has already taken place. This is one of the few fields that still has a bit of lavender that has not yet been harvested. And lavender is something they use for quite a few things. Most of those we are familiar with. I'm talking about soap, I'm talking about perfume for your car or your home, but here they do a lot of other stuff with lavender as well. They even put it in bread, in pastry, toothpaste, and they even have a lavender flavored ice cream. Now I'm not entirely sure I would like that. Lavender flavored ice cream. I think it would taste a bit like 1980s Auchentoshen or 1980s Beaumont, FWP if you know what I mean. But hey, who knows? That's lavender for you. If we look at lavender and we look at whiskey, there is only one similarity between the two. Both are produced using a distillery. But on to the whiskey at hand, and the one I would like to try today is The Lost Blend by Compass Box. And this was actually a release from 2014, a limited release, which is actually an homage to the Eleuthera, the very first blended malt that John Glaser and his team created many moons ago, which consisted of Clynelish and Coal Ila. Now, they called it Eleuthera, which means freedom in Greek, which is basically the mindset of John Glaser and his team. And now they recreated this because they had to retire the Eleuthera because one of the components, the Caol Ila, was no longer available. But then many years later, in 2014, they were able to recreate it and they called it The Lost Blend as an homage to that very first one. This one has a slightly different composition because even though there is Caol Ila and Clynelish inside, there's also a little bit of Olva vein, if I'm not mistaken, and there's also a little bit of the typical Highland blended malt that Compass Box uses in almost all of their creations. This, The Lost Blend, is bottled at 46% ABV, and it's got on the label also all sorts of items that are lost now as well. There's actually 3 releases, 3 different labels available for you collectors out there. I just got this one, bottled at 46% ABV, and it is a bright golden, sunlight to golden, I'd say. It clings to the glass beautifully, so it's pretty oily, a high viscosity, something to look forward to. Let's find out. The Lost Blend from Compass Box at 46% ABV on the nose. This is invitingly fruity and sweet at the start. I get some marshmallows, some citrus, gooseberries and green apples. And after a few moments, even some peaches. They start to dominate, in fact. But the peat is, contrary to the Eleuthera, is quite discreet. This is a great nose. On the palate then. A lovely full body. And the peat is much more present now, much more outspoken. But again, it is the fruit here that calls all of the shots. This is wonderfully sweet and almost creamy with loads of peach and vanilla. But also a lovely peppery bite in there as well. Delicious on the finish. The finish is medium long and offers smoke and wood that kind of overpowers the fruit now somewhat. And the peat whispers its final breath. Well, this is an absolute stunning whiskey in my opinion, and it's even better than the original Eleuthera. Funny thing aside, by the way, the Eleuthera, I did a whiskey rambling about that 6 years ago in Paris. So it's only logical that the successor of the Eleuthera is also being rambled about in France, wouldn't you say? Anyway, this one is more subtle, more discreet, but has also a bit more character than the original Eleuthera. And if you can find it somewhere, do not hesitate. You will thank me later. And that's all for this Whiskey Rambling. Ladies and gentlemen, live fast, but drink slow. Stay safe, and may the malt be with you. Bye-bye.